And what's going on, fellow humans and resellers? Design James, ReadoptionAgency.com, 22 years selling full-time on eBay. Today we're at October 17th, 2023, Tuesday. And I'm going to see if I can predict eBay's future. I'm going to pull in all the outside world into my head, the energies of the universe, and I'm going to predict eBay's future. Okay. I'm just going to lay out some facts that I feel are right or leading to right. Correct, I should say. Not right, but correct. So, let's see how yesterday went before we get started. So, yesterday wasn't bad, especially because I had that $130 sale. But last 30 days, I'm now down 17%. Still, last 3 months, month over month, boom, 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 down. Made it to $659 yesterday. And let's see what the traffic split was. 10 organic, 18 promoted, only 28 items. These like 30 to 35 average days. Actually, we're like 30 to 35 average days. I mean, the one day I had 13. 25, 39, 41, 30. Today I got 3, 2 organic, 1 promoted at $32 at 8:45 a.m. So a crappy start. Again, another night it looked like eBay shut down. Nothing came through for many hours overnight. But my whole thing is starting to feel like, at what point does eBay realize they screwed up, right? I think what I'm going to do here is go through some questions and comments real quick, and then I can kind of talk while I am shipping, because I'm thinking at the same time. So, of course, I really don't plan out nothing, so I'm going to kind of process this as we go along and just talk what I'm thinking off the top of my head. But let's read some comments real quick, and then we'll get into that. I honestly think you are overthinking and overanalyzing everything. Not that you shouldn't worry about low sales, but instead you're trying to understand the erratic ways of eBay. You should worry about sourcing way much better items. Much of your items, we're going to get into this. I've gone through this before. Stuff that I would pass on any given day. Your game is high volume sales. I get it, but your store feels like a Dollar General store full of cheap crap. Full of Dollar General stores. Do you realize how many Dollar General stores there are across this country? Let me answer that for you. Dollar General stores, how many? There are 19,414 Dollar General stores. Dollar General's yearly revenue is $38.8 billion. So, yeah. So, okay. If you think I'm a Dollar General store, thank you. That is a compliment. Full of cheap, cool items, but nothing to die for. It's not about having stuff to die for. You know how many people go and source for things to die for? 22 years of selling at eBay, and you haven't learned anything outside your comfort zone. I started selling only electronics over the years. I expanded and learned to almost everything, shoes, tools, and stuff that is worth at least 100. Well, I know all that stuff. I sell what I have. How much money do you have in your costs? I have zero right now, unless I go out and thrift right now. Two totally different worlds. And it's not about, you can't discredit what I've done for 22 years successfully, 20 years successfully, and the last 2 years have been a pain in the ass, which seems more site related and eBay change related than anything else. So you can't discount 20 years of success based on a bunch of variables that are going on right now. So I'll take Dollar General compliment any day. So thank you. I appreciate that. I like that, Dollar General. That kind of gives me some motivation right now, Dollar General. To keep making sure I keep listing. Redoption Agency, the Dollar General of eBay. Maybe there's something there. Lexus and Toyota, hands down, you can't go wrong. Stay away from Jeep Chrysler. Jeep Chrysler has treated me perfectly. When it comes to Jeep Chryslers, I've had 2 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8s, never a problem with any of them. I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland, not a problem. Had 1 Charger, not a problem. Had 2 Challengers, no problems. Had a Prowler, no problems. I had a Dodge Dart that we just bought on a whim. Had transmission issues, so 1 problem. What else? Jeep Wrangler, Adrian's had, never a problem. So I think that's all the Dodge Chryslers I've owned. So 1 bad out of 9. Jeep Chrysler is, for me, it's the American brand American name brand. I'd pick Jeep Chrysler over Chevy or Ford if I'm going to buy something, just because of the long-standing success I've had with them. Plus, if you buy the right models, you can have a better resale value in your Jeeps and your Jeep brand than you do, say, a Chevy or a Ford brand. Depending on Jeep has a bigger line of vehicles that don't lose depreciation as much. Let's just put it that way. To think there's such a thing as a quota of impressions is nonsense, in my opinion. Well, that theory is more factual based, being that I've showed you now how items are suppressed. So when it comes to impressions, quota of impressions, it's more about the quality of the impression, not necessarily the impression themselves. It's where that impression is coming up. Is it being suppressed down at the bottom when everything that was typed in at the top should ding your item, but it doesn't? So it's being suppressed. You can watch the video on that. So no, it's not nonsense. It's kind of factual. If you look at your numbers, when you put in a certain percentage, your impressions go up or down depending on that percentage. Doesn't always result in sales, which tells you those impressions, if they're going up but they're not evolving into sales, that they're bad impressions. So it's not really nonsense if you think about it. So you got to think about it. Let's see what else you said. I would agree with waste impressions to the effect that the product becomes uninterested for the algorithm at some point because it does not get clicks despite many impressions. And that's the thing, wasted impression, the bad impressions. And that's the point I'm getting at. So if you keep your items at a certain percentage, you're going to see the exact same amount of impressions every day. You change that percentage, then you're going to see a little change in those impressions. It's not that people are searching more or less for that item, it's it getting placed somewhere more or less. So with the bad searches, like you type in a car part and you're getting a shirt, that is a bad impression. So if that counts toward one of your impressions, on the good side, the top 20 side, because if you look at your numbers, you'll see there's top 20 breakdown, there's search breakdown, and then there's everything else. That everything else is the bad area. You want as little impressions as you can in that bad area, because that's where it's just getting thrown everywhere. But the bad searches is when you're getting a top 20 search impression, but yet it's not, nothing has nothing to do with what the person typed in. And then boom, it gets counted as your top 20 search impression. You don't even get a click because it's not anything near what the person's looking for. And then that kind of pulls your account down if you're all into the whole sell-through rate type of thing. So that's what it means. So maybe that makes a little bit more sense. Those tiny sweaters, yeah, everybody's saying those tiny sweaters I sold yesterday are for wine bottles and alcohol and stuff, and I didn't even think of that. I'm not a drinker, so I didn't even think of that. So Posh is putting out beta testing for Promoted. Yeah, I noticed that. You would think they would keep an eye on eBay and see how that's working out for eBay. Let's go ahead and get some stuff shipped. But go back to this. So my thoughts on eBay, basically pricing themselves out of business, if you will. Let's see, I got one international overnight. It was bought on a Canadian website, and it's going to Germany. And it was $50, so that's good. So as we know, eBay is trying to go after more luxury brands, watches, and that's the main one, basically. But that sticks out. The Mask light switch sold for $15, headed to Columbus, Ohio. But here's what eBay doesn't realize. The rich people are not coming to eBay to sell their $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 watches. They're just not doing that. Hell, if I had a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 watch, I'm not coming to eBay with that. I'm going to a legitimate, like either an auction house or a legitimate resale company that deals with those items, because I know somebody who's got a reputation for that. See, eBay don't have a reputation for that, and I don't think they can build a reputation for that, because when you're dealing with that kind of money, first off, you're rich if you own that, or you found one luckily, right? Either way, you don't want to get screwed. So you want to hand that off to somebody who's going to take care of it, who's going to get you the most for it, and you don't have to worry about a damn thing. That's not eBay. eBay, you always have to worry about what's around the corner. Let me find a bubble. Right now, I'm sitting on a lamp that could be worth $5,000 plus. Jan keeps saying, well, put it in your store, just put it at $10,000, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's scary to me. I've been on eBay 22 years, and that's scary to me. So I'm kind of just, when I get a moment or need to, I'm going to run it down to a auction house that deals with high-end items. So I don't have to worry about anything. So it's almost like eBay has high hopes, or they just haven't read the room, if you will. So I'm thinking as I go, sorry. I'm trying to do a few things at one time. We have this beaded purse. Headed to Washington, D.C., sold for $10. And then you add on top of that, where they want to go, and the fact that I don't believe they're going to get there. And then on top of that, you have the fact that they're destroying the core of what eBay is at the same time by promotions, making it more expensive to sell on the site, while at the same time running people off the site, which brings down the value of the site. Rita Springer CD, headed to Texas, sold for $7. It's not a good recipe for long-term success, eBay right now, I don't feel. And then you throw in on top of that all the website updates that's going on, and we'll fix it later concept that they're dealing with, that they're implementing, which in turn hurts sales even further. And thinking that adding all these promotion things are going to make people pay more, when in reality, it's pushing people away, i.e. pricing themselves out of business. Maybe if I think about it today, I'll look. I want to look at like Macari's financials for 2023, Poshmark's, and see if they've increased, but yet eBay with their sales as of last quarter decreased. So I'm curious to see if the other ones are going up and eBay's going down, then I'll be able to compare that. Because in my theory here, pushing all these items from eBay over to Posh, well, that's sales eBay is not getting, but Posh is getting extra now, basically. And there's a lot of people doing this migration feel. The Cure mixed up CD, headed to Oregon, sold for $4.20. So at what point does eBay realize they've messed up? If all this is factual, if you will. At what point do they start putting the brakes on things and say, whoa. Now, what will happen first will be a firing of the CEO, probably some of the other higher-ups that have to do with this vision, this direction. We got a Rams, pretty cool Rams jacket. That sold for $20, headed to Spring Hill, Tennessee. So what I think is going to happen, my prediction is eBay is not going to succeed at their goal. Basically trying to get more high-end and pissing on the lower people. And haven't got my large ones yet, so I'm going to have to get a box for this puppy. It's too thick. That's what she said. But so my prediction is they're going to have to change it up because they're not going to meet that high-end quota. Their low end is falling off because they're pushing people away, maybe even by design. The CEO and some other tops are going to get fired. Then they're going to have to bring somebody in who hopefully has eBay experience, if you will. Maybe they bring back somebody who used to work for the company in the 90s, in the early 2000s, who was maybe a successor, a lower upper management person, and make them a CEO because they understand what eBay should be. A lot of this is in my head is I hopes. so it's a biased feel. What I'm spewing today is biased, obviously, and probably biased to you guys also, who understands it. And then they have to start backtracking on some things. CC Cougars? It might be Creve Core. I didn't look it up. Headed to Georgia, sold for $9. So then they have to start backing things up. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Because, like, if I was in that position and I was all of a sudden handed the keys to eBay, first thing I would do is with the side of the mess of the website, the first thing I would do is say, hey, can we take this site and take it backwards 10 years? Like, erase everything you've done for 10 years, put it in the state it was 10 years ago. Can we start there? That's where I would start. Can we do that? We got J. Giles Band, vinyl, headed to Texas, sold for $5. While I was there, my next move would be, can we build a brand new site on a brand new platform beside, next to eBay, to shadow eBay? Build it, run tests, and then switch everybody over to the new website. That would be my next question. An up-to-date, current site that works flawlessly. No site is flawless, but you know what I mean. Hell of a lot better than what eBay's doing. Can we simplify it? Get it back to its roots. As this is going on, I would start a campaign. And my campaign would kind of sound like that. We're getting back to the roots of eBay. The roots of eBay. Commercial shows, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads. Somebody who's working full-time, comes home, puts in a couple of hours on eBay, eats dinner with their family, watches TV, goes to bed. Ships in the morning before they go to work. Commercial would be aimed at going back to the roots of eBay. That's where I would start. Running commercials. Then what I would do, we got a Bob Snyder cassette headed to New York, sold for $4. I would make sure that the entire company is an open book and not a need-to-know basis. I want the reps that you call in on, well, I would implement phone numbers so you can call in again to a call center in the U.S. Not to somebody's home, to a call center within the U.S. That's how everybody learns. That's how reps learn from one another. They're together in a work environment. When you're at home, separated from everybody else because they're scattered throughout the country, you don't learn as well as you should. Well, especially if the company's not teaching you, first off. Mississippi Mass Choir headed to Edwards Air Force Base, sold for $7. The supervisor running the call center, well, guess what? His job's in jeopardy because you know what? Every rep in that building knows exactly what he knows. Sure, he may have a little bit more privileged information here and there, but everybody in that building is going to be able to answer any question that comes in. Confidently, not from a script. Daniel. That's where I would start. And they might say, well, James, how are you going to turn up revenue? This promoted was bringing in us a lot of money. Well, I'm not saying we can't promote. We just got to find a better way to do it. Now, if we want to promote, what can we offer them for their extra money other than beating somebody else down? How about we create a second category, a split page, if you will? This side, you get everything organic, everything that's matches what you type in. But then you get a split screen, and these are your promoted items, so they're separated. So if you get stuff over here that looks like it's not what you're typing in, you can still roll the page and see items. This is just the first spitball that popped in my head. I don't think anybody's ever done this. The first row would be all the organic stuff that exactly matches what you typed in. The second row is the promoted and or items that you think the customer might like. So instead of a screen where you've got rows like that, why don't we go back to the old format of the long page, but make it split? That's just my first thought. I actually like that, actually. As a consumer, and then you just have there, you have search results, and then you may also like rows. The first row is you don't mess with. That's the original organic eBay, what eBay was built upon. The second one is your future, your bonuses, your promotions, your way to make a little bit more money. And then not only that, you're not only putting 264 items in front of somebody, you're doubling it because you have 2 rows on one page. So you got double the search results. Oh, just a thought. That would be the direction I would go in as a whole if it was me running eBay right now. But I do think it's going to lead somewhere where they're going to have to take a hard look in the mirror and realize that it's not working. But of course, the next quarter earnings may prove me 100% wrong. If that's the case, this video will destruct. But I don't know. That's just that's obviously from the outside looking in, and a very small part of the outside, you know. Everything I said right here could look back on it in 2 months and go, nothing he said makes sense, because the company's, not the promoted revenue, the company's bottom line revenue exploded and was great. But like I said, I don't even think the promoted one's going to be up this time. I think that's going to be down even. And I think even the user, see, it depends on how they read the user information. Like by numbers of items listed. You know, so it depends on how you look at it, what statistics you look at, and how many statistics you put into play when making your decision. I made a comment the other day, like, every answer is right and every answer is wrong, depending on which statistics you look at, and if you don't bring them all into play. Just like anything in life nowadays, the way people are is, you can find the bad in anything, you can find the good in anything. It just, depends on what facts you delete. Pirate ship. So we got this Eric Clapton cassette promo. Love this. So for Journeyman, well, if you look at this, you'd think it's a homemade cassette. You see that? Typed on. You see the cassette itself. But what makes it different is you have the label. Got the label logo right there. You have it on the side with their address and stuff. So you know this was a promo thrown together for the record label. From the record label, I should say. In-house studio. So this sold for $55 going to Germany. Oh, let me know what you guys think. Your thoughts. Your predictions even. Curious to know what y'all think. I haven't sold anything to Germany in quite a while. I haven't had to get a code in a while. Ooh, tell me. And I did get one Posh sale in the 11th hour of the night. I thought I was going to be blanked. And then right before I got off the computer, is it an offer? I think it was an offer. An offer came through. Let's see. And this is actually the only international item I've sold in the last 24 hours. That's pretty bad. So I got one Posh here. Let me print this up while I'm here. I guess we will see where the future lies with eBay. So on Posh, selling for $10, we have this Isabel maternity hoodie. That's for those women who look like they're gonna bust wide open. So that sold for $8 or $10. $10. Let me make sure this is priority label. Okay. You don't want to give me a label? Or did I click the wrong thing? Why is the label not showing up? Can I hit print? There it is. That could be my computer. Might need cleaned up. Might need to clear the cache on that one for real. An actual time where I would actually have to clear the cache. The more I think about that split screen thing, I kind of like that. Maybe I create a new eBay and I design it like that, split screen. Anyway, hopefully sales will pick up here today. So yeah, we're at $9.30. I'm at $62 now at $9.30. But yesterday, not only was it $6.59, so I had that Canada sale too. So that was $61. So it was $61, I guess, American. Oh, that, yeah. Is that 55 maybe? I don't know. Weird. Okay. I think they should have both been in Canadian money. I don't know. Anyway, shorter video today, huh? Didn't do as much talking or reading because I got work to do. So I'm going to make some videos today for the other channels. And I got my 100 items drafted yesterday. So I got to get those listed this morning and brought down and homed. And then start on my 100 for tomorrow. And then what I do at the end of the 100, like yesterday, I finished at like 5 with my 100. 435. And I'm like, okay, what I can do now is create videos, which I created a dolly video. I can keep listing and just get stuff listed onto eBay now that my 100 for today is done. Or I can cross post. So I started cross posting. So I did some cross posting, made a dolly video yesterday. So that's kind of how I'm trying to lay out my days now to get back into the swing of making sure I list a lot of items every day so I can be the Dollar General of eBay. The Dollar General of eBay today. And I'm going to start saying that now. RedoptionAgency.com, 22 years of being the Dollar General on eBay. The Dollar General of eBay. I've always thought about like that type of thing. Like Like, what if I became a store on eBay where I priced everything at the same price, right? Even if it's a $20 item, it still gets priced at this dollar amount. But I always kept it with the roadblock that I'm still going to be sitting on all my low dollar stuff that may not move for a dollar higher, if you will. So then I would have to switch up to lotting that stuff together, which wouldn't be a bad thing if I'd have to really lay out a foundation to work. But selling things that are valued higher, it's almost like the whole bin store concept, the return pallet bin store concept. You have to totally commit yourself to it, or you're going to go out of business. Meaning you can't cherry pick it. If you cherry pick it, you're going to put yourself out of business. If you give something to get the people excited, they'll keep coming back. And then that's how you grow your business. But a lot of bin stores, the reason they go under, the main reason I feel they go under is because they cherry pick their items and the customers realize, hey, we're not going to find no real bargains here. So they just kind of lose interest and move on. I think that was one of the downfalls to Lindsay's store, honestly, because she cherry picked the good items. Because I don't think when it comes to pallets, we all know they're hit and miss. So if you're making everyone a miss because you're giving your customers all the crap, you can't survive on all misses because there's not enough hits in there to make up the difference. But there are enough hits, there could be enough hits in there to generate excitement, talk, return customers. Because somebody puts online, hey, I got this at X bin store, and it only cost me $3. Guess what? How many friends is that person going to see online, who's friends with them, going to see that and go, ooh, I'm going to go with you tomorrow. So I think that's where a lot of the bin stores shoot themselves in the foot, is cherry picking their product. So when you do something like that, you have to commit to it fully and see it through. That's when you get your true results. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to go see if I can find me a frozen Coke today. Trying to find one the other day, and the couple I went to were out. So I think I'm going to go try to find me a frozen Coke today. But I think that's all off the top of my head. So thanks everybody for watching. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are not. Please subscribe to any of my other channels below because they need your support. If I'm going to grow them, I appreciate it. They're all slowly growing. So everybody who has, I totally appreciate you. And I'll see you all in the next video. Whichever channel that may be. Later.